ever wondered what was out there in the night sky? Stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there is life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? If you have, you were on the fringe.
Welcome to the first episode of On the Fringe for 2025.
Yay!
Happy New Year!
Yes, Happy New Year. I'm Mark.
I'm Pam.
I'm Jess.
I'm
And
Kristi.
Yay!
Guest tonight, Kristi Campbell. We are so happy to have you on here. Like I said earlier before the show, I don't know why I just don't give you a ring more often. We love having you on here. You're so fun.
I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Yeah, I'm just
It's
like,
a
I love coming on.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about predictions, psychic and otherwise, for 2025. And I've found some interesting financial ones.
Yeah.
I've got stuff from a couple different psychics. I've probably got a few predictions of my own. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
And it's just so exciting. We did the show last year, and I'm thinking that this is probably going to be an annual show because we had so much fun with it, and I had so much fun looking at stuff for this show. So I think this will be an annual event. So,
It's fun.
It
Plus,
is fun.
It
I
is.
was telling Mark backstage, I haven't got to tell you guys yet. I actually went back and watched last year's show
Did you?
wrote down a couple of things that actually came true in some fashion.
Nice.
We want to start with that.
That's what I was thinking. So it's just a couple small things. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talked about was very generalized. So of course, those kind of things kind of come true no matter how you spin it, what's happening, and stuff like that. But there's a couple of things that were kind of on the nose. And I'm just going to read them out. I actually just went and pulled the transcribed notes from the podcast so I could say it correctly. So the first couple ones I have, Phil brought up last year.
All right.
The first one, and this was from a woman psychic that he had found that had been listing things that she thought was going to happen in the 2024. The first one was, there would be uncertainty about the presidency in 2024, and a strong, untrustworthy brunette would be running for something.
Okay.
Do you get it now? We didn't get it back then because all we could think about, because the primaries and stuff hadn't even happened yet. And Phil kept going, well, I can't think of another Republican, a brunette that would run against Trump or anyone else. And we couldn't figure out who it was. But of course, how could we have ever imagined what happened last year with Biden dropping out at the last minute? And then I'm pretty sure it's pointing at Harris.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
We'll talk about that today too, because there's still some contention there. There's still some possibilities.
Yeah.
There is.
The second one he said was Trump will run for the presidency again, which at that time there was a very good chance that he wasn't or he couldn't.
Right.
And great uncertainty about other candidates, economic unrest, uncertainty about many political figures. And this one, I had a question mark because I don't know all my people in the political world well enough, but I thought I'd say it and see if you guys could come up with who you think it is. Opposition from a woman from the South. Can you think of anybody big up in the political layers there that's from the South? Because I can't think of anything.
Well,
She's from Texas, and she is very outspoken. What is her name? Oh my goodness!
I know.
I don't
Who
Hang on.
Oh, Pam's gonna find it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
find it.
Well,
I can't believe
while
I
you're
forgot her
looking at
name.
that, everything above that
Not Tulsi
is like
Gabbard, is it?
dead on. Like
No.
the economic unrest, uncertainty about many political figures. You know, we've had all this weird
It
turnover.
was kind of a
People,
nutty year.
it has been a
Yeah,
nutty year.
it really has.
Yeah. Now the third one that I found was one that I had found, and it was an astrological side kind of prediction that I'd found. And it
Mhm.
was US's return of Pluto. So
Mhm.
Pluto come back into alignment for the first time as it had the year of the founding of the nation. It marks the end of a cycle and the beginning of a profound revolution in US politics and society. So we're
Yeah.
seeing a huge shift again. And I thought, that's kind of on the nose too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's a little vague and you can always read into it what you want, but I just thought it was a little on the nose. So
Mhm.
Jasmine
that's what
Crockett.
I found.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Love her.
All right.
All
Well-
right.
Well, we've got all kinds of fun political and economic predictions. I've got a few here.
I've got some too.
And this is from Saxo. They you see them on Bloomberg and CNBC and stuff. Trump 2.0 blows up the US dollar.
No. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The new what was it? As the new Trump administration turns the global financial system on its head with huge tariffs, the world scrambles to find alternatives to the dollar. I don't know.
I don't see that happening, but I do feel like that there's going to be a lot of issues with different countries and the agreements that are made or the tariffs, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I think that it may lose some power, but I don't think it's going to be lost altogether. And I think that it's going to merge into USA based businesses providing things that other countries have provided for us in the past.
Yeah, I think the dollar will get stronger. I don't know how much stronger. It just depends on things.
I was telling the guys backstage that on my list, one of the things was that I thought that they would out the Prime Minister of Canada, and Trudeau stepped down today, resigned today. I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changes.
He
thwarted you.
He did.
Prematurely, yeah.
You got Trudeau blocked.
I did, darn it. It's going to cause a lot of problems though with the whole tariff thing. So it'll a lot of upheaval, I should say.
We're going to have some. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We're going to have some unexpected allies, though, that are going to be stepping up and trying to help us. And surprisingly, it feels like China, the U.S. and China's relationship will actually grow. Other countries, I mean, of course, Canada, Mexico. Mexico is a little scared because of what is going on. I was going to ask you guys your thoughts or predictions on the dangerously hot topic of the whole, what is it, the campaign 2025, that agenda where the right wing person was like, we're going to have, no body positivity for women. We're going to have like the total control of like voting. Project 2025. That's what it was. Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
It is. I don't see that happening, but I don't know. I don't know where y'all want to start because I've got so much to say.
Page 5 of Project 2025, and this refers to me personally because I'm a librarian, is page 5 is spelled out that we will be prosecuted as will be put on sex offender lists for allowing freedom of speech with the books that are in the library.
Wow.
Page 5, look it up.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
great.
We pulled it and presented it to our board just so they would understand.
So, in regards to, let's just maybe get the big elephant out of the room, or the orange elephant, if you will. No matter what side of the fence you sit on, there is some big opposition that's facing President-to-be Trump. And a lot of that is coming from the Supreme Court, as well as verbiage, wording, and things like that. So there's an uncertainty whether he will actually get in or not. I think that there was some sort of disconnected verbiage when it came to the lawsuits that he was facing, and it said something about that what people believed is that they said that they would not prosecute a president, but the thing is that he's not president yet. And so there's a lot of speculation in that regards in the fact of will he, won't he. But my personal opinion is that I do believe that more than likely that he will become president, but that he is not a healthy man. He does not look healthy, and his health is declining rapidly.
Well, and see, I speculated earlier this year that he picked, I don't know, not a terrible running mate, not the best probably,
Not
but not a terrible
Right.
running mate. I have the feeling that he ran so that he could win, so he could step down.
Mhm.
I don't
think it will be his choice to step down. I think that they put Vance in place and Trump to get in because that's who everyone wants in, and that they will have him step aside. What is it, article, guys, help me out, Enzo, you're in
25.
Is it article 25
And it,
where they can move him? It might be set him aside.
yeah,
Because
I
he's
think he's going to do
incapable.
it voluntarily.
Do you?
I think he's
I
going to have
agree with
health.
that.
Oh, I don't see him doing it voluntarily. He's got too big an ego.
I do, because I think it's going to be something like he's got
He's
really
not
bad
looking
heart
good.
issues. His health, he may have to step down because of his health, and I think this was his last hurrah of I'm doing it my way. He's got the whole Sinatra thing, like I did it my way kind of thing. Like the
Yeah.
people want me. But
Mhm.
there's going to be some unsavory things coming out about Elon Musk. And right now, there's kind of this frustration from Trump in regards to Elon. And there is this power struggle and kind of jokes of, well, he's got me here, but I'm just going to climb up and I'm going to take over. But that's not going to happen. But I think there's a lot of fear of, am I making the right choice with Kennedy and with the health side of things and Vance as vice? And his health is taking a nosedive because he pushed himself and he realizes that he doesn't have the stamina to do so. And so I don't see a death threat. I don't see anything like that, but I feel like that it's almost like, and I don't see anything tied up with paperwork unless it's a loophole of some sort. But my thought process is that it will more than likely be that he will have a health scare, like a heart attack or a stroke, that will make him incapable of running the country.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't think his health was as bad as Biden's. Biden's mental health was the main issue.
Yes.
Because I worked in a nursing home for many years. Well, not for
Right.
many years, but for several years. And my mom ran a nursing home
Mm-hmm.
that specialized in Alzheimer's and dementia patients.
Yeah.
And he hits all the boxes.
100%.
Just total totally hits every box.
Right.
And I think a lot of people realize that here finally towards the end that, yeah, that's probably what's going on.
He's been declining for a while.
He has been. Now, I've also noticed that Trump has been declining, not nearly as badly.
If you look back at video of Trump from like 2016 and compare it to now, there's a marked difference.
He's an old guy.
He is an old guy. They're too old. These guys are too old to be. Nancy Pelosi needs to step the fuck aside. Excuse my French. Damn. Honey, you're in your 80s. Pass the torch.
I think she's been in office almost as long as I've been alive.
Way too long.
I mean, the man drinks like 10 Diet Cokes a day, though. So it's like you're getting so much. Not to talk Diet Coke. It's great, but I think it's kind of like if you treat your body the way that you do and expect it to keep going, it's going to be a slow process from the inside. But I mean, there are certain things that we can't see that are underlying. Whereas, like you said, with Biden and with his prognosis of Alzheimer's, it was unkind in a lot of ways because he wasn't really aware of it. And it's kind of like, could you imagine your grandparent being there on live television and being like, the hell am I doing here? You know? And
right. It was sad.
It's sad.
Look at Mitch McConnell. He's had obvious episodes.
Yeah.
At least TIAs, if not just, which are transient ischemic attacks, which are mini strokes. Obviously having one on, on camera more than once for sure. These guys are too old. They just need to, I don't understand why they won't pass the torch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a power thing. It's a power thing.
It is. We need term limits across the board for
100%.
everything.
We're on the wrong show for that, girls.
I don't think so. I think it's that the next generation would be the Generation Xers, us, and we're like, we don't want to deal with this craziness. We don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so Gen X
Mark,
don't care.
If you can,
we don't.
Just skipping back to what we were talking about earlier on Project 2025, if you don't mind popping that up really quick. This is on page 5 of it to show you guys what I was talking about.
Oh, the resource. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I highlighted it. Yeah. The people who produce and distribute it, meaning the books, should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. And this is page 5. And if you look up here, this is project2025.org. That is it.
That reminds me of like book burning and like all of those things where 100%. It's like, technology. But I have kind of a sidebar with this is that, you've heard of the, like the timeline jumps and the issues with the Mandela effects and things like that, which are so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
There are things being created now called echoes, and there was a project called the Lost Children Project, and it was a whole government thing. I don't know a lot about it, but if you guys in the chat have heard about it, it's supposedly where there's a group of people and they had children, and the children got sent through timelines of some sort, and they got lost, and people are looking for the lost children. It's this whole speculatory thing, right? But the echoes are coming back in resurgence of old, antiquated things into new timelines. Like, for example, women not having power over their body, or this aspect of not having, the power to read books that are important and enjoyable and valuable and bring knowledge. There's all these echoes happening now that are just very odd and specific, that are 20 years ago or before COVID, we would have never imagined that they would be coming back like this. Like, who thought that we would have certain issues coming up? And it's like, racism or sexism. Yeah.
Autonomy, women's autonomy of
Right.
their bodies. Why should
Yeah.
that even be a question? You
Right.
know,
Right. Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
crazy, scary. And that's the sad part. You know, there's some good and bad on both sides. Not gonna lie. You know, there's good and bad on both. But when you get this crazy is what it is. It's just crazy in there with mixed in with the good. It's hard to break it apart. And
Yeah.
that's what's scary is it's hard to when it's enmeshed. It's
I
hard
have
Well,
to
had
that's
two
typical.
clients. I don't, okay, I can't say who it is, but they're two clients of color that there's this thing going around, and it's this supposed joke, but it was basically January 1st, you're reporting to plantation number 22 or whatever, and it's like they got different numbers, and it's kind of like going back to slavery, and it's not real, but people got afraid of that because they're like, well, if we have no autonomy for our body, if we have no freedom of speech, if women can't vote, why are we going backwards?
yeah.
I mean, that historically, that's things go in cycles. Unfortunately, I think it's just a cycle.
Well, that's the bad part is, you know, there's a lot of things that are getting scrubbed from history, and that's dangerous because
Yeah.
when you get
When
rid
you
of that
start-
history,
when you start tearing down the statues and hiding the history,
yep,
it just allows this stuff. Both sides are guilty of it, so
absolutely.
I'm
man.
not going to point fingers. Let's get back to some
No.
predictions. We're getting a little.
We got way out in the weeds, didn't we?
We're out in the
So-
weeds, ladies. I love it though. I love it.
So,
We might have to talk about that on What If Tomorrow.
so I bring up the strange illnesses that are going to be going on this year that already
Yes.
have started.
Yes, I've got several predictions here for a new pandemic for 2025. In
Yep.
fact, that's in most of my predictions. I found there's at least one for a new pandemic. So
Yeah, there are. I have a friend whose sister is the head of a hospital in my area, and there are 3 strange COVID-ish illnesses that are not COVID going around. And my roommate and I had one before Christmas. Our joke, which is horrible, is we had COVID before COVID was cool. We had COVID beforehand. The first illness is one that it starts out either as a cold and moves into a stomach bug, but it's like you don't have the physical aspect, you just have intense stomach pain, like intestinal issues, and that's very common. You either get the sinus thing first or you get the stomach thing first, and it's an inconvenience. Like you feel like you have like food poisoning, and then you feel like you have allergies, and it's very, very rampant all around right now. The second one is upper respiratory infections that come out of nowhere. I mean, people that aren't around anybody, they're not, eating food and choking. That's sometimes how that can start, but there's just, especially in the older people of the communities, it's really been a huge thing. And that's not necessarily viral, but it's something that the numbers are immensely increased this year. But the last one is the most curious. Days and days of high fevers, 104-ish, and just it feels like the flu, but the fevers aren't going down. People going to the emergency room and getting IVs and being sent home because that's all you can do, and it lasts for like 4, 5, 6, 7 days.
yeah,
My son's girlfriend, Ella Grace, she just had that just the week before Christmas, and she was running pretty solid on 103, and it was going up to 104 a couple of times, and I was like, you need to, if that keeps going up, get her to the emergency room. But from what you're saying, it wouldn't have mattered probably. I mean, they were keeping her hydrated, so
they just give IVs, and they give like, and they're saying, well, don't do the ice bath because that'll shock the body. We don't know what this is. Is it bacterial? Is it viral?
They were doing. She did the ice packs in her armpits to bring her temperature down, and it worked.
Think about it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, be a little chilly, but it worked.
I don't think there's going to be a pandemic like it was, but I do think there's going to be some sort of limitations on interactions. We won't have a shutdown like we did before. It's going to be more so a at your own risk, unless it gets worse. Which
Yes, shut down, voluntary.
right, they may bring back the mask thing, but I don't think that Trump will, because I don't think that he is 100% for that, because the data is uncertain whether that they actually help or they hinder, or so I think it's kind of like interact at at your own will. But my concern is, and let me know if I'm moving too fast through this stuff, but food and production of food.
That makes sense. I mean, we've got China buying up farmland all across the United States and buying food. And see, this ties in. I got another prediction here. I got a China prediction here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
While you're looking for that, avocados just got pretty much shut down. We won't get them from Mexico anymore. And they were, I can't remember how many, it was a couple billion, or at least $1 billion that was coming in.
We're going to make oh dang it, Magnum PI. What's his name?
Hawaii. Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck is a avocado farmer now.
Oh, he's gonna be rich.
Tons and tons of acreage of avocados, and he's an avocado producer right now. So we're going to make him a billionaire.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
I mean, I don't really mind. Magnum's my favorite.
It's pretty cool.
He's awesome. Yeah.
I think they do farm them from Florida a lot because it's the right kind of temperature. California, some of them too, but
Chris said, "No, not the avocados." Right?
Avocados from
There goes the
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how this ties in. So we're talking about China's buying up all this stuff. They're buying all these producers, meat producers and whatnot. So this prediction predicts that China unleashes a $50 trillion stimulus to reinflate its economy. So what happens when they stimulate their economy and their economy crashes and takes our food production with them?
Right.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna be in trouble. Everybody's going to be a vegetaririan.
That's one of my predictions from fact.
I have recipes.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
I don't know if they have the stability to do that, because to pull that off, they would have to really. I mean, unless they're holding back some really important stuff, but
Probably going to print money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and collapse their economy, because that's what happened in the Weimar Republic.
Yeah.
Ian said dairy cattle in the U.S. have been fed on poultry waste, and bird flu is becoming endemic. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's infiltrated the bird flu's in the dairy production now. It's in the milk, and eggs are skyrocketed right now.
Ooh, yeah,
price wise.
I've been buying my eggs from a local farmer.
Same.
So, but they taste better anyway. So
they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They still feed the crows though, even if they're sick. I still love them.
Yeah. Just don't touch them. As long as you don't touch them, you should be
don't intend to.
Right. What do you guys think about this one? First bioprinted human heart ushers in new era of human longevity.
That's amazing.
So
wait, human longevity?
Yes.
You're not just talking for a heart transplants. Well, I guess it would be a transplant, wouldn't it?
It's going to make you live longer because it'd be your heart, because they use your stem cells and stuff to print a heart on a 3D medical printer.
That's crazy.
I think they've had that for a long time in the government, but they're maybe releasing things to the U.S. slowly now in different countries, because I think it's possible. I really do think that is feasible.
Think it's possible. And I think this is, I don't know if it'll happen in 2025, but I think eventually it will happen. Yes.
There's going to be a lot of really amazing technology for cancer, like hard to reach cancers this year. And a lot of things with the eyes. I think, like with vision, which I'm excited because I have optic nerve hypoplasia, so you have to figure out the brain, barrier, blood barrier there. But I think that is something that is coming about for sure, and that our longevity is improving gradually.
Putin's cat
And
said
that
they can
I don't
already
know if
print
it's
the heart valves. That's cool.
yeah. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing though, because we've got what is it, 8 billion people living on the planet now, or is it
Yeah.
9?
I think it's at
It's
8.
it's
I could be
Yeah,
wrong. Let's say
that's a lot
8.5.
of people. Now,
yeah,
I do not. I'm going to start. I do not believe that we need to limit the human population. But what happens when my generation starts living to 110 and the last 20, 30, 40 years
Yep.
is going to require care?
yeah.
It doesn't seem like the way I want to live. Um, you know,
Well,
so
supply and demand of those that are like in that are nursing home care workers. There's a lot of
I mean, it'd be a whole new
issues.
industry. Oh, people are living 80 years longer, but they're going to spend the last 40 years in a nursing home. And
Well, we're going to overpopulate the world in no time if that happens.
yeah, I mean,
and then it's going to cause
Yeah.
all kinds of problems.
if nobody dies, then what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
sound like I mean,
That's when pandemics get set off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably. That was a fun one. Ooh.
Well, it makes me think of like
Well,
the 3D
before we go
printed
on
heart.
from that,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, before we go on from that, I had that kind of ties into one I had, which was advances in quantum computing, which, well, first you've got one of them would be like the complex problem solving and AI led breakthroughs in science and medicine. That's what it made me think of that. But, we've got the quantum computing now that's coming out. That I can't remember. We talked about this the other night, Enzo, of how quickly it can solve an equation. I can't even remember. It was a number that I couldn't even fathom. I don't think anybody really could. A number bigger than the age of the universe of everything.
That's going to be really big technology. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of movement in that regard. I believe in certain aspects, and there's going to be some new faces in technology that will have a chance because other people are going to be either aging out or retiring, or some of the younger generations are going to be coming through with some amazing technology this year, especially like
exciting.
technology, space, that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Ian said, should we give our greatest thinkers and scientists 40 years of extra life?
What's it going to do to give them 40 years extra life when they all develop dementia? And we just have
it. Or
I mean,
if they cure dementia, we'll be bored to tears. We'll just be like, well, I guess it's time for my soaps. Bring me my yogurt. Yeah.
I get it. I think it's great, but I worry about it. So let's just so here's one. It's AI related. NVIDIA balloons to twice the value of Apple, armed with its revolutionary AI chips. Tech giant NVIDIA could grow to be twice Apple's size and become the most profitable company of all time.
What's it called?
NVIDIA.
ENVITA.
They made my video card in my computer here.
Oh, nice.
So that I can play video games and play Fallout.
I don't think that will happen this year. I think they're going to continue to grow, but they really need to be mindful of their stock holders or the stock options. Or like the market's going to be a little questionable this year with a lot of tech stuff. And I think people are going to be really cautious with their spending this year. So investments might fluctuate. And so that might really put the kibosh on their growth. I do think that Apple is trying, but it's almost like there's not it's a niche market. Apple is, and Avita feels like it's got a lot more young blood in it, and a lot more information, and a lot more gusto, and like we don't have anything to lose, so to speak. So let's just go for it. Whereas Apple's like we're a niche market.
Yeah,
And
I think
ever
Apple's
since
gonna fail.
Steve Jobs, ever since Steve Jobs died, Apple's not been the same.
Yeah, it really hasn't.
So
Enzo, he said, and Mark had it up there. Unfortunately, all our current politicians consider themselves the greatest thinker category, so they're first in line. Yep, you're right. It
Yeah.
would
Well,
never get
and-
to us for
I
sure.
think about all these academics who, despite being otherwise brilliant, are pushing all this socialism stuff. Well, that's the best way possible to. Well, I mean, right there's your population control right there, because they'll just
Yeah.
have a purge like they did in the Soviet Union and kill 85 million people just because they disagreed with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, I mean, that's what our so-called greatest thinkers in academia believe in. So, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't know
Let's
if it's gonna happen this year.
let's move on from that. That is the thing. We get into a lot of politics when you start talking predictions, because a
Yeah,
lot
Yeah.
of them are political. I mean,
they are.
here's a good one. Natural disaster bankrupts a large insurance company in the United States after a catastrophic storm.
Oh,
I think that might be more like towards like the California area. It feels like California, Oregon, Washington, and it feels like it could be like PG&E, which is Public Gas Electric California, the West Coast. They had the Paradise fires a couple of years ago and ruined so much land and so many houses and so many lives. And there is a lot of controversy right now in that area, and so it may not be like national, but it's going to be a big. It's definitely a big market kind of program, and they may fall, and that could be an issue with for grids and everything else. But I do think that there are going to be several things happening with all of that for sure.
Nope.
would not
Hey,
surprise
Enzo
me.
hit what you were going to hit earlier.
Oh, yep. Yes. That's on mine. I have that card, Enzo, that there's going to be a big quake on the New Madrid fault.
Yep.
I hope
Yep.
not,
Due.
but it is
due.
overdue.
I
Yeah.
hope not. Well, let's.
And I say that because they've had the like the emergency teams doing drills and things around the New Madrid area
I
within the last year.
I have a
Within the
feeling there's
last
going to
6
be
months, actually.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have a feeling there's going to be a quake around New Mexico, Arizona area that's going to cause a big shakeup, but probably more so around springtime. And there's going to be something about discovering old things, like maybe there's like caves, or it's going to open something up to show us something from the past. It feels like.
Maybe it'll open the lost cave in the Grand Canyon, and we can see the
That would be
Egyptian stuff.
cool.
That would
would
be
be
cool.
awesome.
That would be cool. So
Yeah.
I would love for that to happen. I would love for there to be some sort of grand discovery that proves some of this
It's ancient America stuff.
ancient America stuff. Enzo was part of a
Ooh,
evacuation exercise back in McConnell.
Enzo said I was part of an evacuation exercise at McConnell back in 2009. That was us receiving injured from a New Madrid
And
event.
see, whether it happens or not, these are the sort of things we talk about on What If Tomorrow.
Right.
These are things to keep in mind. So at the
Yeah.
risk of cross contamination, this is a friend show. We are talking some psychic stuff and whatnot, but do have your 3 days supply of food, water, blankets, whatever, because what if?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Hmm.
Well, people don't
And
think about the fact that, it's not just for emergencies. It's, well, what if you get sick and can't get to the store? What if you lose your job and you need a couple of weeks of food? So it's
Yeah.
for all kinds of
We're-
things, not just emergencies. It's
We're
just to
looking
be
at
prepared.
ice storm season, so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
we're talking psychic predictions. How about we talk about Nostradamus?
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting things going on with Nostradamus in the predictions lately. I think that I would, I wouldn't, but I think that there's a lot of things happening with that, but also, have you guys heard about and not to compare, but the whole Simpsons like predicting the future
Yeah.
thing too?
Oh, I
We did a
love
show on that. When
Yeah.
did
Did you really?
that?
I missed
Yeah.
it. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things
See,
happening.
the thing about Nostradamus is every year, every prediction is about that year.
Yeah.
So I always take that with a grain of salt, because everybody's, oh no, this is the year. This is the year everything's gonna.
Ian said, may as well talk about Baba Yaga.
And why not?
Oh, Bobby, yes.
A lovely lady, if you've ever met one. And her
Yeah.
walking house on chicken
That's
legs.
fun.
There's
Yep.
also a lot of speculation that is starting this year. It kind of started the year out with religious speculation of the next coming. It's being hit really hard on social media, saying that, in 2027 that's going to be happening. But people are talking about it a lot right now and kind of preparing for the coming of the next rebirth of Christ and all of that. Whether that's true or not, that's not for me to say, but there's so much kind of talk about it right now that people are getting all amped up because they think that there's a lot of new things coming, and it's
Especially when you get a lot of unrest, which we have going on right now, that
so
brings
much.
the religious,
Yeah.
people turn to religion more. And so I could see that, playing a larger part in
Yep.
how people
Speaking
feel
of-
about things.
All right.
It's funny that you said that. One of them that I had was that I had a few that I thought people that we might lose this coming year. And one of them was the Pope. Of course, that's not a far reach, because what is he, like 93 or going to be 93?
Oh,
Did you hear about the Vatican celebration?
Opening the doors?
Yes. Oh, that was every 25 years. They call it the Jubilee.
Yep.
And it is a celebration where every 25 years they open up walled doors. And this year they opened up the doors to an old prison.
Yep. They opened
To
5.
symbolize releasing the non-guilty committed souls.
It's funny that you talked about that, Kristi, because I had a picture of the Pope being pushed in his wheelchair through the doors, and I thought it was ironic. And I know it's more pomp and circumstance than anything.
It is.
But because he's supposed to enter the doors for the first time, but in the picture you can see the guys already inside the room holding the doors back, where they're getting ready to open them and make sure they stay open. And there's a camera in there, obviously, because it's the way the angle is shot for him coming into the room. So
yeah,
it's more of a show, which and no, I'm not knocking it, because that's
I think it's
helps
symbolism.
people. Yeah,
it's a symbolic thing of basically
exactly.
The symbolism of it, from what I understand, is kind of like, follow me if you dare into the darkness and I'll be your light, which is
kind of
lovely, but a spider webs, no thank you.
Yeah.
No spider.
Well, it was not very dusty looking in there.
Just
so
say no to spider. Well, the maid goes in there all the time. It's fine. Jess, what do you got for it? You got anything good?
Every 25 years they unblock it, I guess. But I think that there's going to be, as you said, there's going to be some issues with the Pope's health, and it feels like it's almost like going to be circulatory, so heart, the legs, of course, already, but a weakening of the body for sure. But I think that he's already preparing for, his to check out, and he's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're closing one of the doors tonight, which I thought was interesting since we were going to be on the show tonight.
Yeah.
The maid has top clearance.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
I mean, right?
Well,
right?
they
We should just ask
unwall
the
the
maid which
same
one.
one every 25 years, so it's kind of like it's a 25-year like jubilee kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
The 20 years.
Yes.
All right. So you want to talk about? I've got Psychic World has some predictions.
Mhm.
Psychic World magazine, I believe it is.
Okay.
Okay. They think that you should expect a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine.
No,
You don't think so?
no,
I don't.
I don't think so, because there may be a shift, but Russia doesn't really
Back down.
care, and the Ukraine have too much to gain, and they feel like they have been slighted, and it's a very for the people situation. And so I think that there may be some time of that, but I do think that Ukraine is actually gaining energy and strength with their resistance.
Getting a second wind kind of thing.
Yeah. Mhm. And they'll have an unknown ally, which may be more like a neighbor coming through and helping out.
Okay. Let's see.
And no offense to the magazine, I promise.
Well, Mark's looking. I had one that TikTok would be saved in the 11th hour.
They will be, yes. Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere.
It's
I
too.
hope
There's.
not.
I hope not either. I really like the platform, but
Musk will buy it.
there's too much. Yeah, I heard that there's chatter that he is looking to try to buy it, but I don't know if they'll sell it to him.
I think they're going to turn it into a stock option for the creators.
That would be cool. And that's what I was going to say too. It's such a moneymaker for
It
the
is.
economy. It really adds to the economy, and
Well,
there's a lot of
especially
people
China,
that are
since they
making a
own it.
living on it. Well, there's a lot of people making a living at it.
There is, yeah. And
Yeah.
they got TikTok Shop, which has so many fun things. I've never bought anything from there, but I've always wanted to, like, I'm a tourist. I'm like, I can't throw money at that, but it looks like it's fun. But
I did get some stocking stuffers this year on there, and everything was decent. So
nice.
yeah, kind of fun.
Now,
Let's see.
I do think though that Twitter will have an untimely death this year. At least it'll start the decline.
Oh, Twitter is already horrible.
It's bot ridden.
Well, it's bot ridden, and I mean, I got on there for the first time in a long time, and then my feed was filled with, sleaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of sleaze, Instagram is going to have a lot of heat and potential lawsuits later in the year. It feels like, because of something with minors or something with inappropriate posting that is done by somebody who is of their company. So Instagram may be in some hot water, more likely closer towards September.
Have you guys got on Blue Sky? Have you tried it at all?
I haven't tried it.
Heard of it.
I like it. I got on there to see what it was like, and it's actually a lot like Twitter was in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
And it's really nice, actually.
I would consider getting off of all the social media if I didn't do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually get on there for business, posting music or posting my specials.
It's a time sink.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Soul sucking if you're not careful.
Yeah, it can be. Um,
Jess,
so
what do you have? I know you had some. We were talking about them.
no. Oh well.
Yes, it's quiet.
No, you guys have already skipped through all of mine, so
Oh
Oh.
no, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, girl.
Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
good. I'm just sitting here. I was trying to find last year I'd found a site that had like funny horoscopes that we read out at the end, and I was trying to find it and I can't find it, and I think the site's been taken down.
I
Oh,
do
man.
have
Sad about.
about the royal family. I do believe that Charles will be stepping down this year, and William and Kate will be stepping up.
See, I think he's going to die. Him or Camilla are going to die. One or the other.
I think he's definitely not well, but I think before he dies, he will step down.
He might. I didn't realize, he had cancer last year. They announced it in February. And I did not realize he was still treating for it, but he is.
Yeah.
And see if I can find it here. It's not prostate because they said, he had an enlarged prostate and he had surgery on it. And they said he does have cancer, but they confirmed it was not prostate.
Intestinal
Something
cancer.
else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
intestinal.
And there was another intestinal would not surprise me at all. What was the other one?
I love Queen Anne or Princess Anne. I love her so much. She's just such
She is a hoot.
she's a
Firecracker.
that's a good word. I was going to use one that cursing, but yeah, she's
Pancreatic cancer. That's what the rumor is, but they won't confirm it.
Oh,
And they're saying that that's the bad one. And they're saying that he doesn't want to say what kind of cancer it is, so he can feel more not focused, like I have, pancreatic cancer. So only people with pancreatic cancer are going to identify with him. He wants to not say so everyone can identify that have been through cancer. And so said I expected him to fall over after seeing that giant red painting of himself, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Awful.
Oh, Ian said he met Camilla and she was surprisingly pleasant. Nice.
Oh, very nice.
And I only said that it may be Camilla because I know she had pneumonia in November.
Yeah,
and
she hasn't had a lot of and
she hasn't completely
these
bounced
people
back.
aren't spring chickens, they're
They're
gonna
not.
have
Camilla's 78 and King Charles is 76. So they're
Right.
getting up there.
I mean, they're getting up there.
The one thing they do have on their side is they're royals, so they have the absolute top-notch healthcare.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully they'll be around. I mean, the Queen was 101 before she passed, so hopefully they'll be around for a while. But I don't know.
I do see there's going to be a couple of issues, not to bounce around, but there's with food production this year, especially a large poultry production company. I'm not sure if it's Tyson or Purdue. I'm not sure which one. But there's something about either that there's issues with the conditions of the plants, and therefore they're going to have to pause during COVID or shortly after it got things opened back up again. They were having issues then, and they're having issues again.
I think it was Tyson where there was kind of a scandal that was going on too. And is it Tyson?
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be. There's also something with I believe one of the cereal companies, like General Mills, as well. I feel like there's going to be some problems with production. Eggs will probably continue to skyrocket because it just seems like with all the things with chickens and with the health and everything like that. A couple of years ago, there was a grain issue, and we may have that again this summer with something within the grain for the feed for the chickens that may be going on again as well. There is going to be a lot of attempted changes in the ingredients in food, especially if Kennedy is in with the Food and Health Administration.
Y'all, he's scary.
He, I kind of like him. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God, do you?
I like his energy. He's very powerful. I don't like him as a person, but I just like he's got a very yellow, like he.
Are you sure it's not the worm that has a yellow energy?
I want to restate that because I think that what I like about his energy, not his person, is that he's unapologetic and that he'll get things done. But
will it be the right things though?
Correct. But I don't like his ego, his person, because that is what's going to be the downfall. And unfortunately, my concern is that they're going to really hit the pet foods hard and try to pull apart, well, what is grain free, and try to really add a lot of things in it that are not great for our pets. We may start to, look for better options for our pets towards the end of the year. That may happen. The other thing is a lot of processed foods. They may be taken off the shelf for a time. So stock up on your macaroni and cheese and your rice-a-roni and all your, because there may be an issue with that as well. But again, not till like the end of the year. But it just seems like there's going to be a lot of speculation and a lot of scandal around that. And, it's just going to be an ego trip showing, well, I can do this and I can do instead of like, yeah, we're going to take, the colorant in the food that is not meant to be in there and the ingredients that shouldn't be in there. It's going to be a power trip, and I don't like that. So again, I don't love him. I just like his energy. So not the man.
He's a trip.
All right. So in the entertainment world, Katy Perry is going to have marriage difficulties.
Again?
That's what psychics predict.
She's with Orlando Bloom. Is that who she's with?
I'm not sure who she's with.
I think it
Kate
is.
Blanchett is supposed to have a very good year.
So Katy Perry is going to have a very, very good music year. Call me Katie, I'll work with you. No, seriously. But a very, very good music year. Because she's going to really get into her softer side and her
more ballads.
Wounded. She's going to heal that wounded side of her that is really vulnerable, and that she tries to have this, I wouldn't say tough exterior, but more like protected. And so her relationship feels like it's going to shift. So there may be a new love interest, but I don't think she'll get hurt by this situation.
Well, and talented, and while she's not my cup of tea, she is a very talented young lady.
Yeah.
And talented people like that tend to turn their drama basically into money.
Adele,
because
prime example.
True. Yeah, I was thinking Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor Swift.
What they do is they take that angst and anger, and for them, it's a form of healing, and then it really starts healing when the money starts rolling in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a reason. One of my, have you guys ever listened to Effervescence?
Oh, yeah, Evanescence. Yeah.
Yeah, Evanescence. She doesn't really perform anymore because
Amy Lee. Yeah,
she is healed to the point where she doesn't have to. A lot of her music was about herself healing her, about her journey, and so that's why she doesn't really. She's in a good place, so that was her therapy. So.
Yeah, but they had a resurgence a couple of years ago. They got back together for like a minute.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I love them. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's right. That's up my alley. But
so I mentioned Taylor Swift, and I just have one warning for her, which is do not do the Blue Lotus album. Blue Lotus, for some reason, or the Blue Flowers. Don't. It's going to be a bomb, a flop. You'll lose money, and you're not going to be. And take a year of self-reflection. Just don't date. Just Don't do it. Just stay single for the year and be a girl's girl and love your people and don't get wrapped up because honestly, there's going to be some issue if you do get into a new relationship that's going to be very questionable.
So do you
So
see her and Travis Kelce breaking up?
that is very highly likely. But it would be because of her, not because of him.
Ah,
That's
well,
interesting.
She's got secrets. I'm not going to bear them because I don't want to be sued. I don't have the money. But-
Psychic
funny.
World says it's going to be a good year for space exploration.
yes.
SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic are all going to do well
Interesting.
and help expand our scientific base. So
They've been steadily moving upwards the past couple of years. They've just kind of been on the radar, but not like fully on the radar, kind of underneath. And they're moving forward progressively. I don't think this year is going to be a banner year in regards to like, let's go take a trip to space. That's not going to happen this year, but we're going to have a lot more information. We're going to have more people in places that we haven't had before, and they're going to turn it into like a media storm of things. Like,
So I have a
astronaut.
question. When it comes to space, what do you guys think about the stranded astronauts? Do you think they're going to make it home?
I do. I do.
either SpaceX or one of the other.
Going to go save them?
Well,
Well,
there's a
maybe from
SpaceX,
SpaceX.
but I mean, it takes forever to schedule these things. So I mean,
They're in really good spirits. I will say they're trying really hard to keep. I mean, they're doing like their live stream stuff, their social media things are kind of going up when they have the ability, and they're doing their best. And I do think they're going to come home safe, but I think it's probably not going to be until around March or April.
yeah,
There
it's gonna
was-
be a while.
There was a story that was showing up in the news just a few weeks ago about cracks appearing in the space station,
Yeah.
and that they
Well,
have gotten worse.
The aluminum in that thing is thinner than a soda can.
Yeah, and it's how
Right.
old now? It's
Been a
aging
fair
out.
while. It is aging out. I
Mhm.
personally, and I don't know as it's going to be 25. I think that at some point, what's the guy's name who used to own Skinwalker Ranch?
Bigelow?
Bigelow. I think Bigelow Aerospace and their inflatable space station modules at some point are going to really come out and start knocking it out of the park. They've got the Bigelow attachment at the space station now that they use for. They don't use it as a habitation module, but it's pressurized, and it seems to be the last I had heard. So, and I haven't gone and looked, but the last I had heard that module was doing quite well. So
They really need to watch their copywriting, though. They need to really their paperwork. I mean, I know they probably have a team of lawyers, but something about the copywriting or the date, something may not match up. So they really need to be mindful of the verbiage that is used and kind of crossing those T's and dotting those I's, because there could be some issue with the paperwork or like numbers or something where they can come back and say, well, you said this, so we're gonna do something with competition and something with paperwork they need to be careful of.
yeah. Enzo says the space station is 26 years old, with the first module launched in 1998. First
Wow.
crew arriving in 2000, and
That's
that's true. I know that's a long time for one of these stations. They're not meant to be long. The ones we're putting in space right now aren't really that long term.
That's older than my kid, and he's an engineer now.
Yeah.
That's
Here's a
scary.
good one. Ian says Bigelow has tasted aliens, and that is why, if I was an alien, I would lock my door on the way through this system. I'm not getting out. Bad neighborhood.
Exactly.
It
Dang.
is a bad neighborhood.
Yep. For sure.
That's funny.
That's funny, Ian. You're
I have one to switch gears again. I think there's going to be a housing market crash. I think the bubble's going to burst.
There absolutely is. Yeah. And it's going to be in the springtime, and it's going to be not as bad as 2008, but it's going to be bad.
I
Mhm.
mean,
But it'll be a buyer's market for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry about the crunching. My cat's going to town on her treats. So, but
it says we aren't classified as mostly harmless anymore. No, I don't think we really ever were.
yeah.
While we're talking about space and aliens and things like that, aliens conspiracy theories. What do we think? Do we think
I
that
was
there's
just thinking
any
about
that are
that.
going to be proven to be true? Because I'm kind of thinking there might be.
Yeah, there definitely is. I was watching something. I saw it on a couple different sources about the intergalactical council of beings or something, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but that we're like the weakest planet. And we're coming to help you. I'm like, we need it. Please do.
At this point, I'm looking at an alien abduction more as a rescue mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Dang it.
We've had a lot of fog the past couple of weeks. Like, it was eerie. I'm like, they're doing something up there and they're trying to hide it. Like, obviously.
It was strange that it wasn't just, localized. It was over a lot of the country. But at the same time, I mean, this big storm system has covered a lot of the country too. So I don't know.
Sure.
Enzo said there's a lot of buzz amongst people that something big, capital B-I-G, is coming. You can put me down for a Phoenix Lights style mass sightings of 2025. Nice. And we talked about this on the show the other night when Enzo was on here with us about the drones and the UAPs and all that. And he has an extensive history with the Air Force. And Enzo was more of the mind that a lot of that is not alien, but there was one, and it was especially the one, correct me if I'm wrong, Enzo, was it over New Mexico or Arizona? And it's a video that someone had taken, and they show an orb, and then they show the drone going up to the orb, and then all of a sudden the drone just plummets, falls right out of the sky. Mm-hmm. And he was like, of all of them, that's the one that struck him as the most likely to be something not from us.
I don't know. I kind of think that they've been doing something to test for weapons of destruction, like bombs and chemical attacks, because they were spraying things. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering if they were doing some sort of testing in regards to, how will things endure if this is affected? How will this kind of small tests that would be harmless, but in a larger scale, kind of a precursor testing of like, could we handle a chemical warfare situation?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, Enzo said it was the Phoenix video. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Jess had to take off.
Oh, hi Jess, we love you.
Yeah.
So we will miss her.
Yeah.
She had.
I thought she got bumped.
No, if you'll check your text.
Got it.
But she had an emergency.
The aliens were calling. No. I hope everything works out. And yeah.
We've been blabbering just fine on our own, I guess. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
I have a prediction. That is in the fashion industry, the clothing industry. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more pure blends of clothing. There's going to be some sort of laws that are going to be getting rid of a lot of the plastic in the clothing.
Mhm.
But it feels like it's going to be more later in the year again, like November, December. That's going to start. So I think that it's going to cause problems for things like Shein and Amazon and those things. But it's going to be just beginning towards the end of the year.
More problems for like the drop ship stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
have you ever? Who was it that ordered something? Oh, it was my mom. She ordered something. She ordered it from, I think, Temu or somewhere. But it was a shirt, and when you opened it, I mean, it smelled chemically so
yeah.
bad. And
Mhm.
even after she washed it, it still smelled like chemicals, and she wouldn't wear it. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea if it's
Yeah.
off-gassing or something. I don't know what's
I
in it.
don't buy clothing from Temu.
No.
I buy stuff that I buy brands that I would normally buy on Amazon,
Yeah.
and I get them for half price because I don't care that they're gonna be here in 3 weeks instead of a
Yeah.
couple days.
Well,
I'm
and
like
a
kinda
lot of the
afraid to
stuff,
buy on
like
Temu.
it's things that are being drop shipped on Amazon. It's the same company that it's coming from.
Yeah.
What did Enzo said? Using drones for detecting radioactives is probably the least effective. It's New Jersey. They can just drive up and down the road looking for it with sniffer vans. Yep.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So
And
what do you guys okay?
Ian, he posted, I suppose, interestingly, Lakenheath has recently become the home of the U.S. nuclear weapons, and Enzo said they've been in and out of there for a very long time. So, yeah, I think that's one of the places you used to fly in and out of, wasn't it, Enzo? I think we've talked about that
It
before.
might have been.
Yeah.
I know they have the capability of storing them, but they will
Yeah.
neither confirm nor deny that they've ever been there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got a prediction here that cryptocurrencies and AI will continue to take off.
They're gonna converge, I think. Or merge. That's a better word. In a lot of ways. I mean, they already kind of are, but
I've been seeing so much really good AI art, but a lot of it is almost got that what's that? It was a what the weird word? Bum bum bum.
Hang on.
Uncanny Valley look to them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Where they have too many fingers or, yeah.
well,
things like that.
you can. I mean, it's really well done. It almost looks like a photo, but it doesn't look like a human, or
It's like the Fae. There's just one thing that's off.
yeah. Have you heard the AI voice covers? Those are I have an app that does it, and I just write down funny things and it makes funny songs. So I did it for my business too. I have a jingle for my business on my phone for all my clients when they call, and it's a song about
Nice.
kindred insights.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love AI. It's a little scary, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is scary, but there's some good applications for it for sure.
Sarah
Um,
Connor is watching you while you make friends with AI.
Enzo, in response to where he flew in and out of, he always went in and out of Mildenhall, which is right next to Lakenheath.
Got it. Yeah.
Nice. And it was somewhere over there.
Let's see. There was not a lot of really fun ones that I found.
Should we do some
I know mine
celebrity
were
talk?
kind of doom and glooms.
Yeah, and I get tired of the doom and gloom. And
How about some celebrity stuff?
Oh yeah.
you see,
So Las Vegas is going to be dealing with a big flood. It feels like that could be putting a lot of the older hotels in trouble.
Ooh.
It feels like it's going to be within the next couple of months. And it's going to be lots of water. We're talking like a couple feet. There's something about that connected to like Red Rock or which is a very cool place if you haven't been. It's near Vegas, not quite. Something about a lot of rain or a lot of water coming down into Vegas and causing some issues with some hotels.
They're not really set up for a lot of rain.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No.
It's a
Yeah.
desert.
And let's see, with the celebrity stuff, it feels like that there's going to be, I mean, I don't want to bring attention to those who are trying to bring attention to themselves. Like, I don't want to talk about the Kardashians because it's been said and done, but I do want to say that there is going to be some sort of musical wedding that's going to be really awesome, and it's like you're hoping for that person. It feels like it's going to be like a pop female and either like a alternative or metal male that's going to be coming together this spring. Lots of really awesome movies being made because there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be allowed into creative sources. Disney, though, may have a lawsuit on their hands about one of their next movies, and it feels like it's almost like they took something that wasn't 100% theirs, and it
Little
kind of
copyright.
feels like they turned it into something that was, I mean, they kind of Pocahontas it. It was like, this is a story that's tragedy, but it's a cute little, so it just feels like it's something that's a little too real and a little too close to home that they're turning into something animated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
I find AI fascinating. And it's a little scary, but I really feel like Hollywood is abusing it.
I agree, but I could totally use a better virtual assistant than my Echo. It needs to like bring me coffee in bed and rub my feet when I've had a long day.
That's funny.
It's not going to happen this year, but that'd be great.
I have a question on a potential prediction.
What's that?
What do you guys feel is going to happen with Diddy?
He's going to die.
I had ran across one that said he was going to have a strange death.
You think he's going to get Arkancided?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. It's not going to be good. But I think, though, that he already knows that he's headed to that path. So we're going to get a lot more insight.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another one I ran across, was that like Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be arrested, or at least he's already out of the country. So
no, he won't get found. But there's going to be a list of like the six, and there's going to be some people that are going to be like, really? Like that person? So yeah. So I have to sneeze. I apologize. Ooh, excuse me.
Enzo said, isn't he currently in the same jail as the guy with the island?
Oh.
He's in the same jail as Luigi is.
Yeah.
I forget his last name.
I don't know. That was disturbing.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
I don't know. There's not a lot of really fun predictions this year.
There's not. I was searching for some too.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing anything, I just did like fun predictions.
And, like I said, we get into politics a little bit when you do predictions because people like to predict politics.
Yeah.
Well, people like to predict politics because it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do think that it's going to be the theme overall this year is going to be kind of recovery from a lot of things, and just staying together, staying connected, and staying united. It's going to be very much that kind of thing. I think it's going to be a year that is going to be So it is the year of the snake, which is in Chinese astrology, which is all about getting rid of the old and embracing the new. And so there is going to be a lot of good things personally for people, especially Geminis and Tauruses, Taurians. But it feels like that there is going to be a lot of shifting in regards to if our country, if our world, if we can't let go of the old and truly let go of it, then we cannot grow. And that's going to be the fear, is that if we can't let go of the power or the ego or the fear. I saw a really good quote, and it's not from a religious source, but I liked it because it says, worry is a power that we pray to. So to release the power, we release our fear. That's really interesting.
Cool.
I see. I did find some predictions that might be a little fun. I have not read them yet.
I found
Yeah.
it too, so
30 years ago, Tomorrow's World, which was a TV show that's no longer on,
Uh-huh.
predicted stuff for 2025.
Ooh.
Okay.
They predicted cyberspace riots in 2025 or in 20.
That's kind of been ongoing, a lot of it, but I think that there's going to be. Was that?
In 2005.
Oh,
they predicted speakers in your house with a floating face.
Ew.
Yeah,
No.
That's not creepy at all.
no. Asteroid mining and space junk gel.
There's an issue with space junk, isn't there? There's a word
There
for
is
that.
a huge issue with space junk.
What is it called?
Man, if I could figure out how to get up there and collect all that crap, all that
We're going to
gold,
lock ourselves in basically with all the junk that's floating around out there.
all that gold foil and rare earth elements up there. If
That'd
a
be
fellow
cool.
could figure out how to economically sweep that stuff up, he could make a fortune.
But there'd be some amazing crystals there. Well, the
Right?
elements floating around.
The Kessler syndrome. That's what it's called. It's the idea proposed by NASA scientist Donald Kessler in 1978. He said that if there was too much space junk in orbit, it could result in a chain reaction where more and more objects collide and create new space junk in the process, to the point to where Earth's orbit becomes unusable. And so basically we wouldn't be able to have satellites.
The lower
anymore.
orbits are already getting pretty
Yeah.
junked up. Or the middle orbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap up there. It's probably not a good thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Ian said there's Hasselblad cameras on the moon. Go get them.
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah. Hey, man, remember that show back in the 80s with gosh, I can't remember. Matt Walker.
Oh, I was like,
Andy Griffith. Yeah, Salvage One. That was it. Enzo, you read my mind.
He did, didn't he?
They made a ship in a junkyard and were salvaging the moon.
That's so funny.
So, I mean, see, and that's one of my predictions I made several years ago. The utilization of space won't really take off until people start figuring out how to make money from it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing now with SpaceX and Blue Origin and some of these other companies. They're figuring out how to make money. So they're figuring out how to cut costs and make it more economically viable to do these things. One of the predictions from that show I was talking about, they were talking about mining asteroids. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen next year. But I feel like, unless I just drop dead, before I pass away, I will see uh, mining in space. I forget who it was saying that they were already talking about mining hydrogen-3 from the moon, because there's a lot of hydrogen-3 trapped on the surface of the moon. So I mean that would be important when we start using fusion power, which we're supposedly getting fairly close to. That'd be a prediction that I'd like to see. I'd like to see them start making fusion power.
That's
I'd like to see the first fusion reactor actually work and start making power. That would be swell.
listen
That
to
will be
this,
sooner
Mark.
than you think, I think, because it feels like it's going to be the next 5 to 7 years. So they're going to start trying to, like, it may not be super successful until, say 10, 15 years, but they're going to start that in the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So that one that I found on advances in quantum computing, this is the part of it. It said, especially in complex problem solving and AI-led breakthroughs in science and medicine. But it went on to say, I think it's going to aid in breakthroughs in new forms of energy, like fusion energy, or new ways of harnessing renewable sources like tidal or geothermal energy.
That would be amazing. And I think that will happen.
Yeah.
Geothermal, I can really see. Tidal energy,
it may be
on,
a ways
on the
off.
small scale. I
Yeah.
mean, I can see like islands and stuff using it.
Yeah.
That have a very limited population. The problem with that is you start junking up the ocean even worse than it is now. It's kind of like the problem with the windmills. The windmills are ugly as sin. They're terrible for wildlife, and nobody, when they break down, nobody fixes them.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper to put up a new one with the government kickbacks than it is to actually fix one.
Right.
So they just keep building more instead of fixing the ones they've got, because the only reason they can make money with them is the federal tax dollars to subsidize them.
Yeah.
And they don't make that much electricity. There's a reason why they're trying to fire 3 Mile Island back up. Because nuclear power is cheap, and if it's done right, it's fairly clean.
Yeah.
If these manufacturers who are working on the liquid salt reactors actually start getting these things built and online, we're going to see cheap, safe nuclear power. That's a prediction, not for 2025,
No,
but maybe 2035.
Yeah.
I think we will start having cheap, safe nuclear power using liquid salt reactors. That will actually help the environment. That's the only way you're going to make these battery cars work, because your battery car is horrible for the environment.
Yeah.
Right.
The batteries are toxic.
Yeah.
Most power is produced by coal, and your return, your carbon footprint is actually bigger on your battery powered car.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the environment, your carbon footprint's actually bigger.
Yeah, you're looking in the wrong direction on
You're
that
looking in the wrong direction. Now, if you are just buzzing around locally, and you don't drive very often, you can run, solar panels or hydro or electric or whatever to charge your vehicle. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'd like to see the battery technology improve to the point where we're not using so many toxic chemicals,
Right.
because those batteries are a ecological disaster.
Yeah. I do think that there's going to be a big breakdown of all of the big business utility companies over the next 20 so years, and more options for flexibility for financially fluid energy and all of those things, gas, all of that.
Yeah, there's always. I foresee for the foreseeable future, gasoline vehicles are going to remain viable.
Yeah.
And I think unless they start getting small nuclear power plants that can run a car, I think at least for military purposes, because you're never going to get an electric vehicle that it will perform like, especially an aircraft, that'll perform power to weight ratio the way internal combustion will. Not for a long time.
Right.
We're just in the infancy of that, and
Correct.
I don't think unless we can develop small lightweight nuclear or fusion power that's really that the electric vehicles are going to be.
It's coming though. It is definitely coming. I mean, like a good 16, 18 years from now, they're really going to start getting into that, but we won't be seeing a lot of that until we are much grayer and much older.
Yeah, I think we'll see a point in time where it starts becoming commercially viable. But I feel like anything that requires that kind of power rate is probably still going to be internal combustion for the foreseeable future. Yeah,
I agree.
But I think, and like I said, not for 2025, but I think in the next 10 years we're going to start seeing an uptick in safe, cheap nuclear power. And I think that's going to be good for everyone, because when they make power cheaper and more abundant, I mean, that's going to help people who are homeless. That's going to help people stay in their homes because electricity is going to be more affordable. So I think that we're going to see that in the next 10 years, probably.
I agree. Yeah, I do too.
I ran across some funny ones too over here.
Oh, hallelujah! Because I want some fun ones.
I was going to note too. I think
it's kind of bringing me down. Don't bring me down.
My last thought with the non-funny is that we're going to have a lot of really great this year breakthroughs with pain technology and utilizing resources that will be really helpful, be it like machines for dialysis or things that are like even just for like massage and stuff. There's going to be a lot of really amazing technologies coming through that will help with either healing or alleviating pain, which is going to be awesome.
Quality of life kind of things.
I mean, they already have that massage that you put on your arms, and then it like goes. You can put it up or down your back, and it's like real hands kneading your butt. I need that in my life. That's TikTok shop. I need that.
That's funny. Okay, are we ready for
I just need a living masseuse.
Right? That would be great.
And we'll just set up a permanent table here in my.
That's the AI right there. We need like AI Susie to come over and like give the Swedish massage.
Get one of those new Tesla bots or whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for a couple of funny ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we need to wrap it up, probably.
2025 Roomba robots are going to take over the world.
That'd be fun, but no.
Yeah, it'd be clean.
Well, maybe not. Have you seen when a Roomba gets into a dog turd?
Dog poop. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh
god. The entire house. This is good. This is bad then good. Well, they're kind of both bad, but the second one's funny. Everything's going to get more expensive, and then we're going to have a Godzilla attack.
Yeah, kind of to the expensive. Yeah, but Godzilla, not so much. But depending on the weather patterns, we're going to have a horrible bug infestation this summer. So, like,
I can see that.
Yeah, insects are going to take over. I mean,
Not
insect.
take over, but we're going to have a lot of nasty, nasty things like coming in from different countries, possibly because of if the weather stays mild like it is in the lower climates like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas area. We may be getting some friends from Mexico coming up to visit.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't like that.
Either.
Yeah, I don't like creepy crawlies. I mean, nothing freaks me
No,
out worse
not a
than
fan.
spiders.
Not
Me
a
neither.
fan.
Spiders.
I do scream like a girl.
Oh,
Me too.
Pam heard me.
poor Jess. She had a huge spider on her behind. We had been up when we were doing the spook house at the Historical Society. We had come back down and she had this ginormous spider on her. And she was like, somebody said, Jess, you got a spider on you. And she's like, oh, Pam, knock it off. And I was like, no, no, I can't. She's like, you
Back
gotta let me
taboo. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am sorry we didn't have a lot of fun ones this time, but I mean, I think we talked about some good ones. We got we got in the weeds a lot today, guys.
Oh, we did big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I would say the top 3 things would be get prepared, get your food and stuff ready, because that might be the thing, and stay safe and just be aware.
We're still in a solar flare cycle, so
Yeah, we are.
that solar weather does affect terrestrial weather. So we could see an uptick in storms and stuff related. That's going to put a lot of energy into the atmosphere. So
yeah.
I have heard, my last thought is that the sun, there's something wrong with the sun. And that there's something about a breaking down over time of the sun, that there's some movement, there's cloudiness or something where there's particles that are kind of decompressing and causing issues. We may see that somewhat this year.
It's
But
a
not-
shift in things.
all right, guys. Kristi, thank you so much for visiting with us. And
Absolutely. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
Do it more often.
Yes, and
it
if
is a
you want
blast.
to,
I love the prediction shows anyway.
yeah,
And it's always a
fun.
great excuse to have Kristi on. I don't know why I'm always looking for an excuse.
I'm always happy to come on. And if anybody would like their own predictions, my website is kindredinsights.com. So.
She's very good.
She is.
Thank you. I love you guys.
We love you
she
too.
knows everything.
She does. Dum, dum. Don't ask her if you don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm honest. I don't do fluffy stuff. Sorry.
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, I think we're going to wrap it up. Next week, look for a new episode of What If Tomorrow. Not sure what we're talking about yet, but I've made a New Year's resolution. I'm going to try to be more organized and do much better planning. So that will probably bring the value of our show up to at least 2 cents.
Hey.
So
that's good.
Amok starts back tomorrow night too.
Yep.
And then
tomorrow night.
Our first episode of In Other Words podcast dropped today.
All right.
Yeah, guys are interested.
Congratulations.
And next Wednesday, a new episode of Bordertown Strange.
Yes.
Where can we find Bordertown Strange, Pam?
It is at we can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. And you can check out our Bordertown Paranormal website and find the links on there too.
You know what? We need to get some ads that I can pop up for people.
We do.
You send them to me, I'll pop them up.
Have that on my list. Yeah, I haven't made any yet.
The AI bot
We gotta make them first.
Same here. Well, everybody have a great new year. I'd like to hear your fun predictions. If anybody's got some fun predictions, get on What If Tomorrow podcast group and post up some of your fun predictions. We'd love to see them, and get on there. And if you've got any show ideas, let us know, because this
Yeah.
is your show too. So,
Absolutely.
all right, guys. Well, we will see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And